Shanmugam IAS Academy, and today we are going to see the editorial analysis of 3rd November 2021. So what is the topic here and what is the editorial is about? So this is the heading of the editorial: finding a way out of India's deepening water stress. So this is in this way we have seen a news in the Hindu, and with that we'll be seeing what is this exactly today, and we are we all going to understand briefly about the deepening water stress in India. So what is the context here? And it comes under the from exam point of view, UPSC and also other examination. This comes under particularly in UPSC, it comes under environment and also the GS paper 2. So the complexity and scale of water crisis in India calls for a local specific response that can galvanize and integrate the ongoing work of different ministries and departments through different configurations. What exactly is this? So this I'll come in the later part. Now I will be telling you. I will be telling you a brief background of this. Actually, in 2019, the Ministry of Jal Shakti was formed. So we were having by merging of other ministries, that is by merging of the ministries of water resources and river development and Ganga rejuvenation and the ministry of drinking water and sanitation. By merging these all three, we have a ministry of Jal Shakti was formed in the year 2019, and it must further be done by taking various sectors together. Will be that is what we are saying in the context here. In the further in the coming days, we'll be merging the other sectors. Not only the other sector, the various sectors will have to come together to work for this water crisis which is happening in India today. So we'll give some light on the background. Now what we'll understand what is the water stress here. So in the heading I have told you, that is the India's deepening water stress. So we'll be understanding here what is water stress, and to everyone whoever watching this video, this is an important topic in the form of mains and in the form of prelims also. In prelims, what type of questions can be asked from this I'll tell you, and while framing the answer and what type of question can be asked on this topic, which this editorial, that also will be tell you at the end. So be alert here, and I'll be giving you some what is the understanding of water stress. What is exactly this? Actually, the groundwater extraction is happening all throughout India, but some particular places where the extraction of groundwater is more than the other states. It's very high. The what is here? The 80 to 90% of the drinking water and 75% of the water used for agriculture is drawn from the groundwater resources. So what I am saying, what we are saying here is the most of the drinking water and the agricultural practices which are happening in our country is drawn from the groundwater sources. So this is the point, and we can take a very big example, very great example. We can take Punjab as a very big example because the green revolution is happened over there, and the green, why we take Punjab as a great example, that I will be telling you about this topic clearly right now. That is the draft report of the Central Groundwater Board concluded that Punjab would be reduced to a desert in 25 years if the extraction of its groundwater resources continues unabated. So if it continues happening like this, there the central groundwater body, water board, which is the authority, has told that it would be reduced to desert in 25 years. And 82% of the Punjab's land has been a huge decline in groundwater levels. We have a water table, though they said that there is a huge decline in the groundwater levels in Punjab. And I will tell you why we will be what exactly is happening here, why the groundwater level is very low, why they are like they are going to be desert in the coming 25 years. And here the in prelims point of view, the question can be asked, which is the authority is responsible for groundwater depletion and groundwater authority in India, and that will be the Central Groundwater Board, which comes under the Ministry of Jal Shakti or Ministry of Water Resources. So here another question rises. This comes under the Act of Environmental Protection at 1986, like, so it comes under that. So it is a statutory, like it's not a constitutional board, it's not a constitutional body. So this can be, in the prelims point of view, the question can be asked like this. So here the Central Groundwater Board is a important thing, and you have to keep this in mind, and this report too. So while framing, while writing the answer, this can be useful, this data can be useful to you. And then another thing, in 1960s to 70s, the groundwater extraction is only 35% at that time, but right now it rose to 70%. The post-green revolution, which happened in India, after that, from 35% to it rose to 70%. That is, it doubled. And the saw the subsidizing the power of for irrigation that left tube wells running for hours. This I will be coming, and this I will be explaining you clearly. And the cultivation of intense crops such as paddy have further aggravated water depletion, even turning water saline. So this could be a very important point, and I will tell you what is this subsidies. I have told you this electricity subsidies, and the left tube bells for running for hours, that too especially for Punjab. Why I am saying is this, not only for Punjab, for other states too. The reasons these can be the reasons. The subsidies on electricity is and high MSP, and you will be lowering MSP is given for agricultural crops, and water intensive crops is also leading reasons for depletion. What water intensive crops? The paddy and the rice, which are said to be the water intensive crops. So you know that the green revolution which happened, the Punjab region, the most cultivated area, that the crops are the paddy and the wheat, and they are, I have told you, the most that is water intensive crops. This is also one of the reason. And the high electricity, that because they have given the free electricity, the tube wells which are in the agricultural lands will be running like the left tube wells running for hours. So they don't know what will happen by running of the tube bell. They're leaving the tube bells because the electricity is free for them. And increasing the prices of MSB is also, the high MSP for certain crops are also a reason. And other, that can be a positive and that can be a negative too. You have to understand that the high MSP is positive for the agriculturals, the agricultural people, the farmers, but the high MSP is one of the disadvantage, like groundwater depletion. This thing is happening. So we have positive and negatives in everything. So water contamination is also like by polluting the landfills, the septic tanks, and the leaks in the underground gas tanks. We have underground gas tanks also. The overuse of the fertilizer. So this will be one of the causes, one of the reasons of groundwater depletion here. So these are the important points. This we don't have here, and I am telling you, if you want, you note it down. And how the Punjab and other states overcome out this problem. So I'm also giving one of my point, my solution here, that is converting the wheat area, that is 1.1 percentage of the wheat area. The cultivation of wheat is happening here. That is, I'm telling 1.1 percentage means that is more than 35,000 hectares. So you can calculate like this. So drip irrigation system can be used here. So what is drip irrigation system? I will be coming. And under rice and wheat cropping system can arrest the decline of groundwater by 3 centimeter per year. So this can be a very good thing. That is, by using this irrigation, the wheat cropping system can arrest the decline of groundwater by 3 centimeter. So every year, like example, where the groundwater is declining to 6 centimeters, by using this type of irrigation systems, we can decrease it to 3 centimeter. So it will be a good factor right now, and there will be water saving under the fruit and vegetable, sugarcane and cotton are brought under drip irrigation. If that land is brought under some of the other, that's the Zayed crops, you will be reading, you will be knowing if you are well in geography, the Zayed crops such as the fruits, vegetables and the sugarcane, these can be brought in the place of wheat and rice at some portion. Because why? I have already told you, they are water intensive crops. What wheat and the rice. So the ways to protect and conserve the water. What are the ways? What are the way forward steps? What are the ways to protect? We use the native plants and in our landscape. Another thing, reduce the chemical use because this can seep. This chemical use is also one of the major drawback, major disadvantage for this. And the managing of the waste. The managing of the waste is also needed, and reduce and reuse and recycling is also important over here. And the waste, to the major thing, the wasteful use of water. Now so many people, so many of us are wasting so much of water, so we have to conserve water because in coming generations, the people who are coming in the next generation, they will feel the more scarcity of water. So you have to be very careful for our future generation from right now itself. And wasteful use of water to be reduced. And impact related, what are the impacts related to this groundwater depletion? That is, large water bodies will become shallow from groundwater depletion. A groundwater shortage keeps additional water from flowing into lakes, rivers and seas as the water becomes less deep. So what happened? The water becomes less deep here. So what happened? The shallowness of the groundwater, we are extracting water from the ground. So what happened? The shallowness is creating, and because of this, the rivers which are flowing in these things, the water becomes less deep. It will affect everything. It will, by happening this, what we'll see, that is the particular region where the fishes and the wildlife will also be damaged, will also be affected with this groundwater shallowness. So these are the impacts related to the groundwater depletion. So, and I will tell you what is drip irrigation. I have told you we can use this drip irrigation technology there by to conserve this. And what is drip irrigation? I have to tell this now. This is called as a type of micro irrigation. Drip irrigation is otherwise called as a trickle irrigation also here. So that is has potential to, the drip irrigation, this is a form of micro irrigation that has the potential to save water nutrients by allowing water to drip slowly to the roots of the plants, either from the above the soil surface or buried below the surface. I will clear you this. What is mean the drip irrigation? There we don't have the wasting of the water. This drip irrigation will make that the the water will directly allowing the water drip slowly to the roots of the plant, so though no wastage and other thing, and it saves the water nutrients too here. So this is the major advantage of the drip irrigation, and we have disadvantages too in also drip irrigation, but these are the major advantages of the drip irrigation. And I have told you the Central Groundwater Board, which is the subordinate office of the Ministry of Water Resources, that is Ministry of Jal Shakti. So is national apex agency for the management of exploration, monitoring, assessment, augmentation and regulation of groundwater resource. So I have told you this is the major association, the apex agency which is responsible for all these activities. So I have told you earlier only. And this you will be understanding, and in later state I will be telling you other things also. And here the 50 to 60% of the water supply is drawn from the groundwater sources, whereas remaining is sourced from surface water sources. So main, the 50 to 60% is drawn from the groundwater, and the remaining is taken from the surface water resources such as lakes, rivers and reservoirs we have here. This is what the point is here. And according to, that is the water management index which is released by the think tank Niti Aayog. So here the prelim points comes here. So the what I have told, the composite water management index, though question can be asked like this, the composite water management index is released by which body? So here Niti Aayog. So this can be a question in the form of prelims. So these type of things you have to be very careful. So the composite water management index released by the think tank Niti Aayog in 2019. and 21 major cities and including, and Delhi is said to be the third most affected, and Delhi, Bangalore, and Chennai and Hyderabad were on the brink of exhausting groundwater resources because affecting about 100 million people. This data is important, and the study also points out that by 2030 the demand for water is projected to be twice the available supply. Right now what the supply we have, the demand can be increased to twice by 2030. This is the study says here. The Chennai is an example. In 2009 life came to a standstill and parts of the city went without the piped water for months. And what are the factors responsible for water stress in urban areas? And here another thing, another point, another heading, the factors responsible for water stress in urban areas. And we have taken the poor rainfall, that is less percentage of rainfall which we are getting here, which are getting these days. Another thing, the climate, the fast changing of the climate changing happening, and encroachment, the cities like Chennai, Mumbai, encroachments also happening, built by the Chennai and Mumbai, which are built by incrementally encroaching floodplains and paving over lakes and wetlands that would have otherwise helped the process of recharging groundwater. So many of you you can understand what is encroachment for other projects, but here this line you won't be understanding what I am talking about: the floodplains, the wetlands, and the recharging of groundwater. What exactly is this? So what exactly is this I am talking about? I am saying the wetlands could have helped the process of recharging, like how we are recharging for our mobile, like that they can recharge the groundwater. So the lack of space, how these wetlands can recharge the groundwater? This has to be a question here. So then I will be telling you briefly how they can recharge here. The wetlands help maintain the level of water. These wetlands, please note it down if you are listening to this. These wetlands will help maintain the level of water table. How? Control on the hydraulic head. How they can, like, the extent of groundwater recharge by wetland is dependent upon soil vegetation and the perimeter volume ratio. This is one point. And the how they can recharge. This is a point here. Like how they will be recharging here. Some of the toxic chemicals carried into the wetland is runoff and trapped along with the settled soil particles. It will trap those chemicals which are running on the runoff. They will trap in the settled particles. Some freshwater wetlands are located at that point. What will they will do? They will enter the underground aquifer, thereby recharging the groundwater supply. So they will do this and they will recharge the groundwater supply. And other point, how they will recharge, the wetland acts as a natural water purifier. So I have told you the chemicals which are coming, which are running off from the other industries, the other things, they will be trapped by these wetlands. So they will be acting as the natural water purifiers here, the wetlands, and the filtering sediments and absorbing many pollutants in the surface water. In the same wetland system, the quality of groundwater supplies, that is the wetland recharge aquifers located below the ground, because wetlands became so clogged with water that soil cannot hold it. So this is important. The wetlands located below, that is became so clogged with the water that soil could not hold that. So what will it do? The water leaks down. So the soil could not hold that thing. So because of this, the wetlands will create a pathway, a pavement for that. The soil could not hold the water, though water leaks down. This leaking out of the water, what will happen? This will be stored in the form of groundwater. So this is why, this is how we are recharging. The recharging of the groundwater is happening by the wetlands in one of the form. Okay, in one of the form. And other thing, the groundwater exchange is a hydrological process. The groundwater recharge is an hydrological process where water moves downward from surface water to groundwater. So this is the point I have explained to you earlier too. And the groundwater is also recharged naturally also. How it can be recharged naturally? By the form of rain, what we are getting, the rain which seeps into the ground. So this is also one of the natural form, and the melting of the snow is also one of the natural form here. And the groundwater recharge also takes place by rainwater. That is what I have told you. This seeps through the soil and fill the empty spaces and the cracks below the ground. This water which is coming from the rain will seeps into the soil and fill the empty cracks over there and below the ground. So this is happening there. And wetlands can intercept the runoff surfaces. I have told you this is the remove the pollutants also. The wetlands will remove the pollutant, the chemicals which are running off. This I have told you earlier. And why Punjab is prone to groundwater depletion? That I have told you why it is prone there, what is happening. The rotation of the cropping, the paddy and the wheat. I have told you these are the water intensive crops over there, and the electricity and the high MSP prices. It also said to be other thing. The primary reason for extraction of groundwater is for agricultural purposes. The agricultural purposes is the primary reason for the extraction of the groundwater. Such as intensive crops have water intensive crops have told you, and the groundwater utilization where it is high. So this also you can quote it as an example. So you need to know where it is high. The groundwater depletion is very high in the states of Punjab, Haryana and Tamil Nadu. Why? Because these states are advanced agricultural states. So in agricultural, these states are said to be the other states are also doing their thing, but these states are advanced agricultural states. The water is mainly used for irrigation. Used in irrigation, and the high yielding varieties also we are studying these days. These crops need regular moisture. So we are not getting regular moisture. We have a seasons in our system. So here these these things needed the regular moisture. So because we won't be getting the regular moisture supply throughout the year. So this made possible only by developed irrigation system. By developing the irrigation system, we can make it possible. Otherwise, the continuous supply of the moisture won't be happen. Won't be having throughout the season here. So I have told you the greatest examples, good examples here. If you noting it down, it will be very good for you while framing the answer and from the prelims and the mains point of view. So this is I have given so much of important data to you where I have studied from so many sources here. And what the synergy need for synergy is like the Ministry of Water Resources must reconfigure its relationship with the other ministry department. The other ministries such as Environment Ministry, the Urban Development Ministry, the Agriculture Ministries, these has to come and they have to create some of the good developmental for greater convergence to achieve water and food security. I have told you in the contest in the introduction first itself. I will be coming it in the later stage. Now I am saying this is what the must configure a relationship with other ministries and departments and with the counterparts in agriculture, the government, the environment and the rural development for greater convergence to achieve the water and food security. And other things we can do, that is land zoning regulation. This regulating the zoning regulations will be done by the Environment Ministry. So that's what I am saying, the merging, the combining effect of these ministry, this thing we can reduce this effect, and the enhanced integration and coordination through effective land and water zoning regulations that protect urban water bodies, groundwater sources, the wetlands, the green cover, while simultaneously working to enhance the wastewater recycling and water recharge activities, targeting the aquifers, wells to rainwater harvesting. These all points I have explained you in the previous one. I have told you how wetlands is recharging water, and I have told you the groundwater sources. This is what the land zoning, by how we can protect these water bodies by increasing the green cover. That is nowadays so much of deforestation is happening. By decreasing that, by all these considering all these factors, we can increase, we can conserve this by the integration and the coordination of other ministries, the other things too, and measures to manage and replenish the groundwater, especially to participatory groundwater management. And interaction is also needed for, and it drawn from the expertise of the field such as the hydrology, that is hydrogeology and the agricultural science. What are these? Hydrology is the watershed sustainability. Hydrogeology is different, that is aquifer mapping and the recharging thing, and the agricultural science is the water sensitive crop choices and the soil health. This is the interacting from these expertise, and the suggestions from these expertise also needed in this field. And the surface water conservation, including the many rivers and lakes which are in a critical and dying state due to the encroachment. I have told you encroachment because of certain projects, the pollution, The main thing, the pollution and the abstraction and the obstruction of water flow by the dams. We are constructing dams by obstructing the river, the flowing of the rivers. This is also be one of the cause. We will be telling one of the good and in the negative way also. And here, by saying this, I will be concluding. The Ministry of Jal Shakti last year has announced an ambitious plan to provide water connections to every household in India by 2024. This is the important point. So they told the water connection to every household in India by 2024. In view of ongoing erosion of water resources and ever increased demand for water. Along with this aim, should we protect towards the conserving water resources, and the expert committee constituted under the Union Resource Ministry drafts a national water policy. This is the point, and one hopes that it will be rooted for integrating the insights and work of multiple departments and disciplines, making way for new configuration to sustainably manage the country's water resources. This is what I am saying. That is the integrating the all the disciplines, the all the departments for the configuring the sustainably managing the country's water resources. From starting introduction, I have told you this. By ending, I am ending with this point only. So, and how it can be, I have told you the prelims point of view, some of the questions in this topic, and how they can ask in the mains question, what are the different factors playing in the India's water stress crisis? Suggest steps to address them. So this can be a, and you can write on by your own, by listening to this video or by your own data also. This is the form of questions in the mains form, and prelims also have explained you. And if you have any queries, any details, just please comment, please tell us in the comment section. We'll definitely try to follow that. And thanks for listening to me. Thank you. Thanks for coming to Shanmugam IAS Academy to listen to this.